Alright, what's up everybody, it's Reclaimer and welcome back to another Halo 5 video. Now this video is going to be kind of fun. Obviously, I'm sort of known, apart from Zero to Hero, for doing tips, and more specifically, Team Arena and HCS tips. And so this is something that I've been looking at doing for a while, and it's something that a lot of you have requested, which is viewer slash subscriber, whatever, gameplay analysis. So this is something that I've wanted to get into for a while because I really... this is something that me and Proximity and Samaritan especially enjoy doing, is watching gameplay, whether it be other people's or even our own a lot of the times. Like when I was at the CX house last week, there were a lot of times when me and Cole would sit down and watch past games of ours when we were teaming back under Vital, and even after that, and analyze the games and what we did wrong and right, and how we could improve on certain things. And so we enjoy being critical of games, and so it's something I've wanted to get into for a while. So today I have an Empire Strongholds game by Watchy. A lot of you should know who he is. He edited my montage that came out about a week ago, and he also has done several meme-tages for me, as well as worked on stream highlights and stuff, and he's a really cool guy and he makes really great content. So we're going to go ahead and analyze his game, but yeah, definitely be sure to submit your own games, because I really do want to, whether it's a game that you did really well on, or a game that you lost, obviously don't just submit me, your game where you had a really good game and you got 20 kills and you won because you played trash people. Like, I don't want just those. I want gameplays where maybe you had a bad game, maybe you lost, and I can tell you what to do differently, whatever. And obviously, I'm not going to pretend to be the most experienced or the best player when it comes to giving advice and giving tips and stuff, but I have been a competitor in Halo 5 since it came out, and I have been to a few LAN events, and I've placed pretty well, and I've beaten some pretty notable people, whether it be online or online or whatever. So I think I have a pretty generally good idea of what I'm talking about. So just I guess take that for what it is, but yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and review this game. And obviously, if you want to submit your own games, which, like I said, please submit, so that, because I love doing stuff like this, and a lot of people have requested it. So just go to your Halo Waypoint accounts, and I guess whenever you have a game that you want me to review, bookmark it in your saved films in theater, and then send me the link through Halo Waypoint. You can send it to me on my Discord. There's a link in the description for that. You can DM it to me on Twitter. I would say probably don't leave it in the comments or like a YouTube private message, because I get so many of those that it's very easy for those to become lost. So put it in my Discord server, which, like I said, there's a link in the description to that. There's a link in the description to my Twitter. If you want to DM me on Twitter or DM me on Discord, definitely do that, and I'll be sure to look over your gameplay. And obviously, let's try to keep it HCS games, because HCS is obviously where my expertise is. And so probably don't send me any sort of like Action Sack or like SWAT. You could probably send me some Slayer stuff from like the Slayer playlist, or even Team Arena. But anything outside of that, whether it's like if you send me like SWAT or Warzone or Snipers or something, I'm not going to be able to give you really tips about that. So HCS is probably what we're going to keep it at. But yeah, without further ado, I've been talking for a while. We're going to go ahead and get into this game. So this is, like I said, from Watchy's point of view. So off the rip, I'm not really sure what the other team was doing. So this is sort of a weird start, right? So the blue team, which is Max's team, ended up getting their home base first. They double capped it and then immediately pushed for pit, and Max grabbed noob combo because I'm pretty sure this was solo queue. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that he was playing with people that he didn't know. So grabbing the noob combo is generally a pretty good thing to do, because he's probably not sure at this point who has overshield, and so Max decides to go down here to Turbine and grab the combo, which is a really good play, because more often than not, especially at this point, somebody has OS, and he's going to be able to get a combo off and hopefully take that overshield player out. I think it was burned, though, which is pretty good for them. A little bit of an awkward battle right there, and then ends up getting weird timing on that guy who was getting shot by his other teammate, but they managed to double cap pit. So this is a really good start. The other enemy team decided to leave their home base and play for power-ups, and it ended up not working out for them. So that's not too bad by the red team. It's a pretty routine gamble, and it just didn't work out for him this time because either they got bad timing in certain scenarios or they lost their gunfights, whatever it may be. But so yeah, pretty easy 10-0 lead, and all of the power-ups, I believe, I didn't see what happened in camo, but I believe all of the power-ups, no, so this guy has camo, so this guy on the other team has camo, but they don't have to worry about overshield. And this is a little bit weird because they're going for a triple cap. So it's a 4-on-4. Max just got 1 kill, but they were going for a triple cap anyway, so I don't really know what happened there. But they got the kills. Max ended up dying, which means the red team is most likely going to cap blue base here because they managed to double cap red. And it looked all right. So the blue team decided to double, or the red team, sorry, decided to double back for red base. Probably got a tower spawn. So red team is not doing a good job of rotating fast enough. What should have happened there is that once they were down on numbers and there were 2 people in red base, they killed Max outside, and they should have just gone blue and captured that, but instead they took way too long, and now they're down 33-0, and the blue team still has a trip cap. So Max decides to go for pit here, makes a pretty good play, walks so they don't see him on the radar, and then this guy really, alright, so sort of an awkward battle, but Max manages to get the guy on one shot, does put some good damage down. So all of this is pretty good so far. Obviously, the red team is sort of making mistakes at this point because they aren't rotating fast enough, and obviously the blue team is just winning their gunfights at this point. But this right here is a really, really important time in this game because both power-ups are about to come back up, the overshield and the camo, which could mean the difference in either red team getting completely shut out or the blue team running away with this game, or red team having a good chance to come back into this game. And a really, really nice triple. It was really good. Obviously the shots were great, but it was really good to turn around and look where they were spawning and get that 3rd kill. This is really good positioning. Obviously he's not sprinting or anything, so they don't see him on radar. Manages to get behind him and put some good damage down. Really good flank. And now both power-ups should have come up. Unfortunately, I think missed the camo guy. There's a guy still sitting on it, I think. Yeah, and ends up getting backstranked by the camo guy. So that's just unfortunate timing. Nothing really he could do about that. He probably should have checked it because obviously he should have known that it was coming up around this time. And then I don't know what happened to the overshield. Presumably somebody got it or something. I don't know. A really good nade shot right there. That was really good nade placement to bounce that. It's just those little things. So like, let's back that up. So like, there are little things that are really important and can mean the difference in getting a kill or dying in a certain scenario. So instead of just looking at this guy and shooting, Max does a really good job of, he bounces a nade off of this thing right here, and that puts more damage down so that he can come out ahead in the battle. So little things like that are what set good players apart from great players. So they still do have camo, but red team still isn't moving very fast to cap things. So red team is still... Alright, so red team is finally making a play for pit, but Max is in a really good position right here. Max got a pretty generous spawn, but see, this death right here is not bad at all, because what happened there, so let's just break this down for a second. So even though they ended up getting pit here, if we look at what Max does, so Max at this point, the blue team has a 2 cap, right? They have blue base and they have pit. So a red team either has the option of pushing all the way around to blue base and trying to out-rotate the blue team and then going for pit, or just going for pit. So right here, Max gets a pretty good spawn, but he decides to run with it, which is a pretty good decision. So right here, all of them go pit, which is a pretty good push by the red team. But Max over here pushes into the red base by himself and basically forces at least 1 or 2, as well as putting some really good damage down on these guys and forcing a couple of those guys to become non-factors. Puts some good damage down and then distracts that one guy who was shooting at him earlier and that one guy who just killed him. And so Max puts a lot of damage down and then wastes a lot of time. So, and not waste as in like waste time in a bad way, but waste time in that, or buys time for his teammates, I guess. While the other 2 have to double back for him, and so now they have numbers, and they're moving fast on pit, which is pretty good. And they should get it. Max probably should have been standing in it the whole time, and they might not get it now. I hate theater because now I can't see how close it is, but yeah. Max probably should have stood in it because if they double capped it, they might have gotten away with the cap there. But getting out wasn't the worst decision at that point because there were so many of them there, but he shouldn't have gotten back in it. quite frankly, I don't know how he's alive. I was gonna say, yeah. Once you do something, you have to commit. Being decisive is a really important part of your gameplay, and so you really, once you make a decision, you really, for the most part, you want to stick to it. There are some, you know, wacky scenarios where certain things happen, and you want to try to switch around because you hear a call out or, you know, whatever the case was. But getting out of pit there, he should have gotten out and probably tried to get some sort of a height advantage and take up a different angle and try again instead of going back into pit. So right here, another really important part of this game. So obviously the red team has started to come back. It was about a 66-0 lead because of the blue team's triple cap, but blue team has basically cut that lead in half, and this is a super important part of the game because you can see both power-ups come back up. The red team gets the overshield, and Max, either because he doesn't know the time or just doesn't check it or whatever, this red guy is going to get camo. And so basically they're going to get both power-ups, and red team should hold this lead. They should be able to put a lot of damage down and at least slay out the blue team probably twice from this power-up advantage. So paying attention to when the power-ups and power weapons come up is a huge part of a game, because especially on maps like Empire is a really good example of how power-ups can really swing games, because Strongholds, once you hold a setup, is generally pretty easy because it takes a lot more work to break a setup than it does to hold one. And so power-ups can mean the difference between you know, getting blown out or getting back into a game. So the fact that red team allowed them to get that double cap back is pretty unacceptable on their part, because coming out ahead in that engagement, they should have been able to continue racking up points. And now Max is basically just given free reign to cap this base. I don't know what the camo guy is doing. I have no idea what that guy was doing. So now the blue team has a trip cap, and I'm going to be honest, yeah, the blue team has a trip cap, yeah, Max is on a killing spree, but it's more due to the red team's mistakes than it is the blue team's good plays. I mean, obviously Max wasn't really doing anything wrong there to go on that killing spree, but that was more due to red team not really making a decisive push. And right here, the red team decides to make a decisive push. They get pit, and Max unfortunately rushed this too fast. So Strongholds games, you hear announcers in HCS, and especially in Pro League and stuff, talk about it a lot. But Strongholds games aren't over until they're over. So if you see something getting capped, it is much more advantageous in most cases to let it be capped and try to slay out rather than just diving pit, because diving pit, basically what Max is doing right here is he's taking himself out of the equation. So either he's going to die or he's not going to be able to do anything to help his team. Like, he's stuck in a battle right here, but this battle isn't important at all because there's people behind him and there's people on the other side. So he really wasn't, he put himself in a really bad position to where he couldn't do anything. And so now the red team has a trip cap, and that's not Max's fault, but Max gave up a pretty average death there that he probably shouldn't have. So just remember that's a really big thing, especially in Strongholds games, because I see Diamond and Platinum level players do this all the time. It's not the worst thing in the world to let something be capped. And then Max again rushes pit, which was not the greatest decision, and he might stay alive here, but still, it's never a good idea to try to solo cap a Stronghold because it goes so slow and you're in such a bad position for so long. And you see Max does end up dying there. But the blue team does get the cap off, and now it's around the 540 mark, so both of the power-ups are going to come up again. Blue team should have 2 dead here, so they should have numbers and be able to get the power-ups. Max is moving towards tower. Let's see if he remembers camo. They're even spawning tower, and he doesn't look like Max remembered camo. So Max has been in tower all 3 times that camo has come up and has not gotten it any of the times, and you can see the red guy gets it again. He might get a good kill on him. Yeah, so that's probably the #1 thing that I would say to Max right now. Even though the blue team is winning, is you gotta remember the power-ups, man, because he was in position to get camo every single time it came up. Like, if you go back and look, he was in tower every single time and just never got it. So definitely pay attention to those timers. And if you don't know how the timers work for power-ups are, like with power weapons, with exception to like the shotgun and the scatter shot, power weapons will come up. It'll show you when it comes up. They'll be on the weapon pad, so obviously you'll know when they come up. But with power-ups, it is every 2 minutes exactly after they're picked up. So if you pick up the camo at 9 minutes and 52 seconds, it'll come up at 7 minutes and 52 seconds. But yeah, that should close the game out right there. Max ended up getting 24 kills. They want 100 to 72. So let's go back and look at this. Max gets 24 kills, which is pretty good. All right, so Max gets 24 kills. Does the best on his team. Does the best on me. 24 and 11. That's really not a bad game. But I do want to emphasize that, and I don't want to. I hate that. Why do we have to have that thing on my screen? All right, there we go. I want to emphasize, and this is not me laying into Max, but a lot of that was due to the red team's mistakes, and less the blue team's like outplaying of them. So if you pay attention, obviously, I guess the main takeaways would be make decisive decisions whenever you play for something. So don't hop into pit and then second guess yourself. Don't be too slow when trying to defend something or trying to rotate. Like you saw the blue team, or the red team, sorry. I think 2 different times during that game when they were getting triple capped, just sort of hung around and played for kills and didn't really do anything. They should have, obviously you want to go for a base, and rotations on this map are especially important, so definitely using tower and manipulating that spawn as well as rotating through the outside is really important. Power-ups as well. Power-ups are huge difference makers, and not just on Empire Strongholds, but on every single map. Overshield, camo, sniper, rockets, all of those things can mean the difference between getting blown out and winning. So doesn't matter how good your team is, but if you don't get any of the power-ups, you're probably not going to win, or at least you're going to put yourself at a huge disadvantage. So yeah, I would just say 2 things, but I would just say probably those 2 things. But yeah, overall, really good game out of Max. Had some really good shots. That triple kill with the perfect was really nice. And then Max generally made pretty good plays throughout this whole game in order to go 24 and 11. But yeah, that's going to do it for my first gameplay review. Obviously, please submit your own games because I really want to do stuff like this because I really enjoy it. So yeah, if you want me to talk about your gameplay, obviously preferably HCS, like I said earlier in this video. But yeah, bookmark it in your saved films after you have a game that you want me to review, and then send it to me either on my Discord or my Twitter in a DM, the link to the Halo Waypoint thing, and I'll be able to review it. So yeah, links are in the description to my Discord and my Twitter. Go check all that stuff out, as well as my Twitch, where I'm live just about every day, and my merch shop, which has all of my different T-shirts and hoodies and all kinds of fun stuff. So go check that out. And as well as my Patreon, which offers some exclusive rewards and even some one-on-one time with me, and some private conversations and private sessions and all sorts of cool rewards. So go check all that stuff out. There's links in the description to everything. Like I said, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, my merch store with Spreadshirt, and yeah, so remember all that stuff. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this first gameplay analysis. Like I said, I really enjoy doing these. But yeah, likes are appreciated. Subscribe if you're new. Whoa, much love, much respect as always, and I'll see you guys later.